Hey everybody, so I thought I'd just jump on real quick and do kind of a informal health update because unfortunately there's yet another health update for myself. If you follow me on Instagram, then you'll see more kind of up-to-date content than what I put here on YouTube. And a lot of you guys have questions about what's going on, so I thought I'd just put up that update. I do have wet hair right now. It is so hot here in Vancouver. It's like 30 degrees today. It's like summer weather. It's beautiful, but I am not taking the time to dry my hair, and I have a little bit of energy right now to film, so I was like, I'm just gonna tell you guys what's up. Honestly, I am so tired of filming health updates. Like, I really don't want to be filming this. I wish I didn't have a reason to be filming this. I do want to share with you guys. I'm just tired of it. I'm just really tired of it, and I hope this is the last time. If you hear lots of screaming outside, like I said, it's like summer out and kids are going crazy out there. So yeah, where do I leave off? I mean, I'll leave a playlist down below of all of the health stuff I have going on if you want to catch up. But the last update I did, I was in the hospital for 5 days for ulcerative colitis. I came home. They put me on prednisone for 2 months to wean off, and then I was going to go see my doctor about possibly starting Remicade. Remicade is a drug, it's an infusion drug for people with colitis that you take for life every 8 weeks in an infusion. It's actually really expensive. I found out one treatment is $4,000, so thank goodness for healthcare, because it's like, I think it's like $26,000 a year for this drug, which I found out later in hospital, which is crazy. It's a really, really intense drug, but it's needed if you have really severe ulcerative colitis. So that's kind of where I left off, I think. So I was home for a few days and on prednisone, and everything was okay, but symptoms started again pretty quickly after I got home from the hospital. Like in the hospital, everything stopped symptom-wise, and when I got home, things started to kick up again. And I was like, what is going on? Like this is weird. Maybe because the steroid they had me in the hospital was stronger than the prednisone, even though I'm on 40 milligrams of prednisone. So after like 2 days, I called my specialist and I asked her if I could split up the dose, because I was taking it all in the morning, and by nighttime I was up every hour going to the bathroom and in pain and all this TMI stuff. So I thought, well, maybe the prednisone was out of my body by nighttime. Could I split the dose and be better? So I did that for a couple more days, and then I called her back and things were really bad. I'm trying to remember, like this is a bit of a blur. This has all been in the past week and a half. And she said, I think you need Remicade sooner than later, because they were going to start Remicade. We were going to talk about options at the end of the 2 months. And she said, no, like it sounds like you have a case that's not responding to prednisone. Let's get you in with Remicade. She didn't give me an option of any other drug. That was it, because Remicade was the fastest acting. And they got me all set up with the infusion people to have my first appointment. The fastest one they could get me in was the Wednesday, a week ago Wednesday. So I suffered. I found this out on a Thursday, and I knew I had to make it all the way to Wednesday, if that makes sense. And things got progressively worse as the days were going on, basically. It was just, I couldn't leave my room, I couldn't leave the bathroom. It was worse than before the first time I went in the hospital. Sunday night came along, no, Sunday day, and it was so bad even during the day. Like, it used to be days were okay and nights were bad, and then by this point I hadn't slept in like 6 days, and even during the day, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even, it was just excruciating pain is all I can say. So I thought I had to do something. It was a Sunday. I really didn't want to go to Emerge, but I knew that Emerge would be bad at night. So I made the decision to go. I think it was like 4 p.m. just to bite the bullet and go and see what they would say. And as you guys know, Emerge takes forever to get through, and I was there till about 11 p.m. at night. And in the end, the on-call doctor called my specialist, who, they gave me pain meds first of all, and then they decided to up my prednisone to 50 milligrams, which is crazy if you know prednisone, and they sent me home with more pain medication so I could make it to my Remicade appointment. So that was on a Sunday. That was the plan. More pain meds to just make it to the Remicade. So I went home at 11 p.m., didn't sleep all night, and it got even worse on the Monday, and I was just trying to troop it out. I didn't understand why it was getting so bad. It was so bad that I was being completely dehydrated. Like, I couldn't, anything I ate just was gone instantly, and it was just like constant, it felt like labor. Like, if you've been through labor, it felt like I was in labor for like a good week, like on and off, and it was awful. So Monday, what happened? I was trooping it out through Monday, and I spent the majority of Monday in bed. And by that night, my friends were texting me asking, how I was doing, and I was so over it. I was quite honest, and I told them, like, I am not doing well, and I just have the best friends ever, basically. I have the best friends ever. They completely supported me to go back to the hospital. I was like, I don't want to go back to Emerge just for them to send me home with pain medication. Like, they're not going to do anything. I don't want to sit there by myself. I was a mess. But what pushed me to go was that at this point, my kidneys, like in your back, started to just ache, and it wouldn't stop. And I started to go pee, again, TMI. But like, I hadn't been drinking any more water than normal, and for about 2 or 3 hours there, I was peeing every 10 minutes, like big pees, and I wasn't drinking anything. So, and my kidneys were hurting on top of all the bowel pain at the same time. So it ramped up really fast Monday night, and luckily, one of my friends offered to go to the hospital with me, because of course the kids are sleeping, and Harrison's here. I can't drive myself. I'm in too much pain, and I just have amazing friends. Like, it makes me want to cry. So one of them drove over to the friend's house who was coming with me to watch her kids because her husband was working away. And another one actually drove there first because she could get there faster. So one girl drove over there, the girl left to my house, and then the other one who was staying the night relieved the girl who went over first, if that makes sense. So I had like this whole team helping me out, and then my friend came and picked me up at, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 10 p.m. We went to Emerge, and she told me she was staying with me all night, and I owe her for life, because when you're in that much pain, like I couldn't even, I mean, it takes a while to get through triage and stuff, and I couldn't even sit in the chair because I had to keep running to the bathroom, so they wouldn't have been able to find me. And even when I was sitting in the chair, I was just screaming. I was the one screaming in the ER, basically, like on and off and running away. So thank God she was there, because she could like hold my place and see what was going on. And this time I got in faster, probably because I looked a lot worse. And when they got me into like the room or whatever. Normally when you go, like there's different stages through the ER. I'm very familiar with the hospital system now. There's lots of waiting periods and things like that. And then once you're actually in like a treatment room, you wait forever to see the doctor. But this time was not the case. And they didn't even sit me in a treatment room. They sent me to an actual bedroom. And I remember getting there and I was leaning over the bed like I was in labor, screaming. And the nurse came to start an IV because I was terribly dehydrated, and he went to get the pole and I couldn't wait, and I ran to the bathroom again. And I was in there for like 15 minutes, and when I came back out, not only was the nurse waiting for me, which is like a big deal, they're so busy, the doctor was waiting for me, like actually waiting for me in the room. I was shocked, totally shocked. So I sat back down and the nurse put the IV in right here, which is an awful spot for an IV. I've had an IV everywhere now, here, 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 here. It's just, that's the worst one. So he was putting the IV in and the doctor was talking to me, and I just remember him saying, "We're keeping you, you're not going home." And I remember like pretty much crying, because as much as I don't want to be in the hospital, I was petrified to be sent home again. And I told my girlfriend, I'm like, please advocate for me. I'm in too much pain to go home. Like, they can't send me home. And that's the first thing he said is, "We're not sending you home. We're going to figure this out, and we're getting pain meds in you right now." And they gave me morphine or hydromorphine, and it was, I'm really sensitive to the high feeling, and I guess because I hadn't slept in 6 days, it just like, it made me so high. Like it was, thank goodness my friend was there because I didn't like it. I was kind of like holding onto the bed. It did take away the pain, but I was like, oh my goodness. I'm telling you guys, this was going to be a short update, but all the things that happened in hospital, like there's just so many stories along the way. So yeah, they gave me the pain meds, and I rode the high for a while because I couldn't handle it, and then eventually we passed out from 3 to 4 a.m. And I guess because they were still trying to contact my doctor and get things through pharmacy, and they woke me up at 4 because they finally had the same steroids I was on the week prior to give to me. So when they woke me up at 4, I was again in extreme pain. I had to run to the bathroom, and came back and they gave me the steroids and they gave me more pain medication. At this point I said goodbye to my friend because she was going to go back home to her kids. They gave me less pain medication, so I wasn't as high. So I just went back to sleep for another couple of hours, and I woke up and I was okay, and the steroids just stopped everything. Okay, so that is that part of the story. The steroids really do stop everything, which is a good thing. Then I guess my GI specialist, I still hadn't seen her. I mean, she's extremely busy. I don't see her in hospital very often. I saw her once the whole time I was there. She notified the doctors that I was to start Remicade in hospital. Even though I had an appointment for Wednesday, by this day it's Tuesday, they had to courier the Remicade over. They had a special nurse who knew how to do the Remicade infusion and everything, and that was their plan. So, unfortunately, this whole night I was in like a private private. Like, it had a curtain and it had a bed and it was a room and it was decent and I was happy. Halfway through the Tuesday, I got word that they needed the room because I'm still technically in triage, and they put me in basically a chair that somewhat reclines but not even fully, in a hallway lined up next to other people with like someone directly sitting in front of me, like no farther away than we are, and they had their family members. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Because I knew I was staying for a lot longer, and I knew I was getting this crazy drug treatment, which makes you really susceptible to germs. It lowers your immune system anyways, and it was just, I was having a panic attack. My mom was there, and I totally lost it, and I was like, there's nowhere else you can put me, and they said, no, the hospital is full, and I was just, one of the lowest moments definitely for me. It was terrifying. It's a whole other story. I had to stay there for a night. My husband came that night during the Remicade treatment because I was so scared, because Remicade, some people react to it and some don't, so they kind of had to stay on hand and watch to make sure I didn't go into anaphylactic shock. They had to watch my skin to make sure it wasn't rashing up. They had meds on hand in case I reacted to it. Thank goodness I did not react to it. It was a 2-hour infusion, and everything went okay with that. The night was not fun because of all the people that were directly beside me, including a homeless man sleeping beside me who had blood clots and farted and made all sorts of weird sounds. So yeah, that was a hard night. The next day I found out that I was a contact risk, just kind of like I was the first time that I went in hospital. If you're in hospital a lot, they test your stool and whatnot to make sure you don't have this like superbug virus. So I found out I was a contact precaution, which was a good thing because they needed to find me a room. They needed to get me away from other people. So I was all for that. I found out I was next up to get a room. And thankfully later that day I got a room in the acute emergency ward. So again, a private room, like kind of on a different part of the ward, but it was a private room, and I was so excited, and that's when I posted to Instagram. That was day 3, and I was like, yes, I'm here. They kept saying to the nurses, you're not gonna move me, are you? Because by this point I found out I was staying for 5 days, just like I had before. We were doing the same steroid treatment for 5 days, just they're also giving me Remicade. So I knew that was the plan. I was like, you're not gonna move me, are you? She's like, I don't think there's any reason to move you. I was like, okay, perfect. So I stayed a night there, and everything was fine. I mean, my symptoms were pretty much gone. I stayed a night there, and I woke up the next day, and my mom visited me for a bit, and then when she left, I came back to my room, and the nurse came into the room, and she brought in one of those, like, what is it called? I don't know, like portable toilet things, basically. And I'm like, oh, commode. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, unfortunately, you tested positive for C. diff. I think it's called C. diff. It's basically, I don't know if it's the superbug, but it's a bacterial thing. It's common in hospitals and care homes, and it's very contagious. And it's a colon bug, basically, a really bad one. And so I was positive for the contact thing, which meant that I couldn't leave my room. I couldn't go to the bathroom. Like, they had to bring me my own bathroom. I shouldn't have visitors, and if anybody came in the room, they had to like suit up. It was terrifying, and I didn't know how much longer I'd have to stay in the hospital with this, and what kind of new drugs I would get, and I didn't know anything. Nobody was telling me anything. And the next thing I know, the porters are people that move you in the hospital, and they told me I was going up to the 7th floor, and I was so terrified. There were so many terrifying like things at this hospital stay, because remember last time I was on the 5th floor and I was in a room with 3 people, and it was absolute hell. So I was like, oh no, I don't want to go back to a room with 3 more people. So anyways, he wheeled me up to the 7th floor, and to my delight, it was a beautiful new ward, and I was basically quarantined, which wasn't bad for me because I got my own room with my own bathroom in it, my own shower in it, and no one bugged me, and it had a window, and I got to stay there for the next 2 days. 2 days? 3 days? I don't know. Until I got out. I got to stay there because I was a contact risk. So it was a bummer that I had this thing, which I'm going to talk about, but it was a good thing because it got me my own room and like peace and quiet. So as far as the C. diff goes, basically it can be really, really bad. I was looking it up. I think I was going into partial kidney failure, and that's why I was going pee so often. Like, it was that advanced. It just basically depletes everything for you, and it's extremely painful. And I think I was in advanced stages of C. diff. So I don't actually know to this day if I went back to the hospital because of C. diff, because of colitis, or because of both. And I have no idea. So I'm curious to talk to my doctor. I'm supposed to talk to her tomorrow to see, like, should I have even started Remicade. I feel like it's too much info for you guys, but if you want to know, that's what's going on. So for the C. diff, I'm on a really strong antibiotic 3 times a day. And I had to take that for 2 weeks along with the prednisone. I'm back on the 40 milligrams, weaning off for 2 months. I got home yesterday and I'm so far so good, way better than I was last time. So I have my fingers crossed this time because they were talking a lot about surgery. So before the whole C. diff thing, if I came home and got worse, then my next option would be basically colon removal surgery, which is shocking and a lot to take in. So at this point, I'm just hoping that things continue good, and want to find answers about Remicade and whether or not that's necessary, although I've already started it, so I'm not allowed to stop. And just make sure that I'm not headed down the surgery route and try and get better from here. But as you can tell, like I'm not in pain. I feel so much better. I just hope it continues, and I'm just done. I'm done with being in hospital. I spent basically half of the month of April in a hospital, and I miss my family a lot, and my husband, and I'm thankful to my friends and family and everyone who's had to help us out, because this is definitely the hardest times in our lives up to this point. So yeah, but I have faith that things are gonna get better, and I keep saying that, but it's got to at some point. It has to. And I just wanted to keep you guys updated. So yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. Again, I have more videos that are pre-recorded, and then eventually I hopefully will get back into more current videos. But if you have any questions, please let me know, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!